Hey there, Beatles fans. I've been wanting to do this video for a little while. Ever since I've seen a few videos on YouTube, particularly people like me, Mr. Mayo, and Canadian Stub Muffin, who I love watching their videos on their rating their favorite Beatles albums and all Beatles related polls, and I get hours of enjoyment out of watching them two guys, and I recommend that you check them out if you haven't already. But I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and just give you my favourite Beatles albums. I'm going to rank them from my least favourite Beatles album to my favourite Beatles album. And I have to say, I don't consider any of these bad. When you say least favorite, it's that's all it is. Really, it's like my least favorite is still a great album in my opinion. It's just I love every single track on every single Beatles album, and that's no lie. So I'm gonna rank them from 12 to 1. I know there was 13. If you include Yellow Submarine, which is actually considered an album now, but I don't have it, so I'm not gonna include it. I have it on vinyl, but I don't have it on CD, so I'm not gonna include it today. I'm just gonna go from 12 to 1, and at number 12 I have With the Beatles, and it's a great album. I love the cover, particularly. I like it's probably one of their best covers. It's a bit iconic now at this stage. The cover of the album. I think the Lennon McCartney tracks are weak compared to other albums. Apart from It Won't Be Long and All My Lovin', which are two fantastic tracks. But overall, my favorite song on this album, I think, is a cover, and it's George Harrison singing "Roll Over Beethoven," which I think he does the definitive version of it. I think I prefer that to Chuck Berry's version. So number 12 is With the Beatles. Number 11. I think this is rated very low on a lot of people's lists again as well, because again it's there's a good few covers on it. So I have at number 11 I have Beatles for Sale, and there are some great tracks on it. No Reply is absolutely fantastic. What You're Doing, I absolutely love that song. I know a lot of Beatles fans don't really like that song, but I love it. I think it's a great track. Um, I love Ringo singing Honey Don't. Great. Um, 8 Days a Week. But yeah, there's a lot of covers on the album, and so that's probably why I have it at number 11. Number 10, I think it's probably just because it's so weird, and I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I absolutely love this album. And it's number 10. It's Magical Mystery Tour, which is a great album. There's some absolutely fantastic songs. One of my favorite Beatles songs of all time is on this album, and it's called "Hello Goodbye," and I absolutely love that song. Even though there aren't many lyrics in it, I don't know whether that makes it even better, but it's just a great track. And "I Am the Walrus" as well as on this. So, number 10 is Magical Mystery Tour. Number 9 is Let It Be. And Let It Be, I actually prefer the naked version of this album, if I have to be honest. I don't really like the Phil Spector, what he actually did with this album. So I'm with Paul McCartney on that, and so I actually play the naked version a lot more than I play this version. But I have stuck it on every now and again. But um yeah, that's probably why it's number 9. If it's like it was the naked version, I'd probably put it higher. But we're just going by official releases, so number 9 is Let It Be. Number 8 is an album which I'm sure a lot of Beatles fans would rate a lot higher than I have it rated, and yeah, they would rate it a lot higher. I consider it a classic with everybody else, but I am with George Martin, thinking that this probably could have been a better single album. Really, like, I know, like, who are we to criticize? It's the Beatles' White Album, and um, yeah, it's just there's some fantastic tracks on it. My favorite being the George Harrison again singing "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." That has to be the best track on the album for me, anyway. There's some great tracks on it. Year Blues and Helter Skelter really showing the hard side of the Beatles. Yeah, so I love this album, but it is a number 8. And I think it's just because it's probably the only Beatles album. It is literally the only Beatles album where I have to skip through one or two tracks, so that's probably why I have it a little bit lower. I can listen to every other album straight through, but this one I just have to skip through a couple of them. I'm not really mad about Rocky Raccoon and Wild Honey Pie and Revolution 9. We'll leave it there. So yeah, Beatles White Album. So number 7. Is it number 7? Number 7 for me is Please Please Me, the debut album by the Beatles. And that's probably why I have it rated above Let It Be and the White Album and Beatles for Sale and everything else. Because it's their debut album. I love the fact that they recorded this in one day. It's just to me that's rock and roll. That's a rock and roll band. And you're witnessing on this album the birth of probably the best group of all time. So yeah, from the opening track, it's probably the best opening to any album ever. Like with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just absolutely fantastic. I love this album. I don't know why people rate it so low, because this is it. This is the Beatles. This is our introduction to them. So yeah, I have that. So number 6 is the soundtrack. It's one of the soundtracks, and it's the soundtrack to Help. And yeah, I love all the tracks on this again. I love my favorite song on the album. I think is "I Just Seen Her Face," because it's just a great track. I love Paul's vocals, and I just love how fast the track is, and I just love that track. But every single song on the album, "You Got to Hide Your Love Away," and "You're Gonna Lose That Girl," "Ticket to Ride," "Yesterday" as well is on this. So this is just a fantastic album. So I'm into my top 5 now. Am I? Top 5. And number 5, I have the last ever release by the Beatles while they were still together. That is, because they released "Let It Be" a year later. But it's Abbey Road, and yeah, I love everything about this album as well. I love the cover. I love all the songs. Um, I'm not mad about Sun King. I'm not mad about Because, but I love everything else on it. Come together. But again, I think George's song is probably my favorite. Something. What a track! And he also has on this album "Here Comes the Sun." But probably the best part of this album for me, apart from them songs, is the medley at the end is just absolutely fantastic. So Abbey Road, number 5. Number 4 is another soundtrack, and this time the soundtrack to A Hard Day's Night, which is probably, again, what a fantastic cover for an album. And again, I love every single track on this album. There's not a track that I don't like. Every one of these tracks was written by Lennon McCartney as well, so it makes it extra special. And yeah, I like, if I was introducing the Beatles to anybody for the first time, I'd probably say listen to this album first. So number 3 for me is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which is considered one of the greatest albums of all time, and rightly so. Um, all fantastic tracks again. Love every single track. I don't think there's a track that I don't like on the album. My favorite song on the album, it's hard to pick one, but I love "She's Leaving Home," and "A Day in the Life," of course. But every single song on this album is absolutely fantastic, and it doesn't get overrated at all because it's absolutely fantastic album. Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So number two is probably a lot of people's number one. I don't know, but for me it's number two, and it's Revolver. And this was my number one for years. Until later on, I just loved the album that's number one a lot more now. But yeah, every single track on this album, Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, Here, There, and Everywhere, which is one of Paul's greatest songs, in my opinion. For No One, Tomorrow Never Knows on this album. This is a great album, and I have it at number two. So number one, you probably guessed it. If you're a Beatles fan, you'll know what it is by now, and it's Rubber Soul. And I love everything about this album. I know the opening track, Drive My Car, gets a lot of stick from Beatles fans, but I actually love that track. I don't know what's wrong with people saying that that's a terrible track and it's one of the most least favourite Beatles tracks. I actually love it. I see Paul McCartney live, and he opened the concert with Joy McCartney. It's just absolutely fantastic. I loved his guitar work on it. I love the bass on it. I love everything about that track. But I think my favourite song on the album is... Ooh, there's so many good songs on it. Especially the George songs, Think For Yourself and If I Needed Someone, is like, they'd be very strong. But I think my favourite song on this album is In My Life by John Lennon. And so that's my top 12 Beatles albums, and I hope you enjoyed this, and leave your comments below if you feel inclined, and once again, thank you.